Hi everyone, my name is Michelle and I'm Mama Loves You GB here on FlossTube, but also over on Instagram and Etsy. It's been 2 weeks. I feel like I say it's 2 weeks since my last confession. And what a 2 weeks it's been. Thank you to all my new subscribers and to everyone who's watched all 3 of my FlossTubes so far, and big thank you to those who have shouted me out and very much helped me along the way to there. We've got Elizabeth Ann can Stitch, she mentioned me, and also Niecey Lynn, she gave me a lovely shout out as well, and then of course Brenda and Laura. They, right at the very end of their video, they said about my channel, and the first I knew about it actually was Becca from Sandbury Stitches, commented on my video saying that she'd been sent by Brenda and Laura. I got that message about 12:30 at night, and I actually couldn't sleep until I'd watched the video and found out where they said. Laura said she thought I sounded exotic, so that's sent me off on trying to find a fruited headdress ready to wear to school the next morning. I'm so grateful to all the people who have helped point other stitchers in my direction. It's been fabulous. So it's been 2 weeks, 2 weeks back at school. School is an interesting proposition these days. The kids are doing their very best to adapt to everything, but just teaching an advisor is really difficult. I find that I can't hear particularly well with it, like those people who can't hear unless they put their glasses on. I find it really hard to hear in a visor. We have to very much stand at the front and teach from the front. Very old-fashioned way of teaching, which is fine, but the biggest thing that I've found is that I'm not allowed to go around and sort of see how the students are getting on. So I'm sure some of them have had a very easy 2 weeks and not really done very much, because the other thing is if I take their books in, I have to leave their books for 72 hours before I can mark them. So yeah, it's definitely a different way of doing things. So we'll just see how long we have to go like this for, until something else changes. I don't know what that will be, but we'll see. I'm going to get started straight away. I have got a start and a finish. After I did my dyeing experiments last video, I also had this chart. This chart was one of the ones that I showed as part of haul. Lizzie Kate Think Autumn. And I'd also showed you another finish of a freebie chart from Owlforest embroidery, which I've got here, which I'd finished up. And pretty much when I finished filming, I realised that the same colours that I'd used for the Owlforest embroidery one would be a really lovely mix for the Think Autumn. So this is my version of Think Autumn. It's on 32 count walnut dyed linen. Just give it a minute to find its right colour. So there we go. I've used pretty much none of the called for colours, just chose my own colours, and I wanted a little bit of blue in there, and so I've put the Think Autumn in blue, and my little bird has got some paler blue eyes just to give a bit of evenness rather than just a single bit of blue. But I'm really pleased with the way that's turned out. Not 100% sure on how I'm going to finish it yet. Maybe a long thin pillow that stands up, because if you're putting lots of pillows together, I think it's really nice to have some that are different sizes and particularly different heights as well, so it kind of lifts them out of whatever display it is you're doing. So I'm planning on making sort of an autumnal display with this one, which I showed you the little tray that I've got for. My Penny Autumn by Plum Street Samplers on 32 count Murky, which I showed in my very first FlossTube, and also this other little finish that it's been on my Instagram, but I haven't shown on FlossTube yet. Now I'm going to have to pop the name of this across the bottom, but this is from Punch, Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. Yes it is, Punch, Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. And it was the autumn issue. Was it? Yes, I think I'll put it along the bottom. I'm doubting myself now. And this is obviously by Barbara Anna, and it's on just a little piece of, I believe it's 32 count, hand dyed, and all I did to finish it off, I just did a flat finish, a little hanging finish. I've mentioned before that I'm very fond of little mother of pearl buckles, and this is just a little besom broom. One of the things that I've really liked looking for is actually finishing items. If you look on eBay, if you're looking for something, if you put doll's house, so I put besom broom doll's house, you tend to get things in the right sort of scale. So if you're looking for just a little something to finish a project off and you want something along those lines, put it in, but put in doll's house and you'll get something along the scale that you're after. So I was really pleased with that one. I really like that one. So I think they'll make a nice little autumn collection. I did buy some backing for those little pillows, just a little bit of like a boiled wool that I'll finish the back of the Owlforest pillow in. It's not very thick, but I think that'll give it a nice backing. Okay, so whips. What have I been working on? Not as much as I planned to. I just actually had a ferret through of all the things, all the samplers that I'd put aside for Sampler September, and I haven't touched them. Apart from one, I haven't touched them. I just haven't had quite as much time. Shock horror. Who would have thought, going back to school, and haven't had quite as much time to stitch. But let's have a look and see what I have been up to. First one, no surprise to anybody who's seen me show this before, is the Barbara Anna Santa's Trips Sal, being run by Creative Poppy. Mine is on the Called For Colours DMC and on a 28 count mystery colourway. I adore this. I absolutely adore this, and I can't wait to have it finished. I've already started looking for a frame for this one, so it's probably going to take a 12 by 12 frame, so I should be able to get something to fit off the peg, as it were. So just one more look at that one. This month here, for those of you who haven't seen this before, this one here is the one that was just released in the middle of this month, just gone, and it's a little pig. If you look really closely, my little pig is a slightly different shape to the other little pigs that you might see, because I've only got 2 stitches on his nose where I should have had 3. It took me ages to work out where I'd gone wrong, and by that time I'd filled them all in and I wasn't going to take it back out again. So my little pig's got a slender little nose. But again, we work with these things and we move forward. Okay, now if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen me raving about this pattern, and I didn't think I was going to be able to get my hands on it so quickly, actually. It's out in the States, but it hadn't made its way over to the UK, and I kept checking all my favourite websites. So I've mentioned them before: Peakside Needleworks, Fobbles, Arts and Designs, and also the Patchwork Rabbit. And this week just gone, I googled it, did my search again, and this time it came up. Arts and Designs up in Dumfries had it. Now they're brilliant. If you're buying charts from them, it's always free postage. If you add threads and things like that, then obviously there's a cost added to it, but if it's just a chart, then you'll get it as a free postage. Now when I showed this on my Instagram, I said quite boldly that I thought this was the best chart of the year. The Barbara Anna one runs a really close to it, but for me this is my favourite chart that's been released this year. It's called Halloween Parade, and it says strange things are seen on Halloween, and you've got all the animals dressed up in Halloween costume.
It's called for 40 count Egyptian sand and it's charted in DMC. So I've started mine. I'll just show you the colourways. Those are the threads, and I've got better with my threads. In my first FlossTube I really wasn't happy with the way my threads were in project bags and stored, so I have moved to these tags. You buy the tag just from Amazon, and then I bought a 19mm punch just to make the hole. So those are the DMC colours, and this is my start. So I've changed one of the colours already. So this is on 36 count linen that I hand dyed myself, and I've actually changed the colour of the dog. So the dog on the chart is actually very, very dark brown, and I used to have a black Labrador called Enzo, and so mine is black. Oops. And I shall put a couple of other black things in the chart just to balance it up, but other than that I'm using the called for threads in the called for places, and I'm so happy with this. So happy with this. I love this piece of linen. Came out really nicely. It's actually got quite a different colour to it as it goes across. So I chose the darker bit of the linen because there are some whites and things like that need to stand out on this top bit, but I shall use the bottom for something else. But really love that. Can't wait to get back to that. Such a nice stitch. And then the one chart that I said in my plans last week that I wanted to work on was Mary Clayton, and I'd still really like to get Mary Clayton finished by the end of sampler September. So I've done quite a bit on her. Again, this is on another piece of hand-dyed linen. This is a 36 count using one strand of the called for DMC. And there are some colours that don't stand out brilliantly, and there are some colours that obviously stand out much better. I don't mind that there are some colours that don't really pop. So I think I said to you before, I quite like the idea that if you go a bit closer to something, then you get to see more of it. And I'm really hoping that I'm going to get this finished, as I said, by the end of September, because we are planning to go back to the Cotswolds, and so if this is finished I can take it to the framers with me and either pop it in for framing or see if they've got a frame that I can frame it myself with. So there we are. I had a lady actually who contacted me through the comments, and she was looking for suggestions of UK framers that take commissions by post and do a sort of a total framing idea, so you can send your stuff to them, they will send you some suggestions and you can pick and then post it back out to you. I don't know whether Cotswold Art Supplies in Stow on the Wold actually do that. You could definitely phone them up and give them that suggestion, see whether that's something they can do. But the lady who contacted me, and I'm sorry I can't remember her name off the top of my head, I'll put it along the bottom, she was wondering if anybody in the UK could comment if they knew any framers that would do that type of service, and it might be nice to get a bit of a list going on so that people know of some good recommended framers. So we want people that Stitchers have actually used and have had really nice results with. So if you've got any suggestions, just pop them in the comments, and then other people can see those too. So that was my stitching for these last 2 weeks. Definitely not as much as I would like, but I think it's going to be the new normal. I think, you know, I still do stitch every day. I still do stitch probably from about 9 o'clock in the evening till whenever I go to bed, which sometimes is still after midnight, sometimes is about 9:30. So we'll go from there. Oh, it's warm today. It's really warm today. I love when on FlossTube people give you the weather. Colette Kingsley, the highway stitcher, always tells me the weather. It's about, I don't know why I'm looking out the window, there's no temperature, there's no thermometer out the window. It's about 19 degrees out there. It's really nice and bright and sunny. When I say 19 degrees, I am on the Celsius scale. I know Americans are on Fahrenheit. Being a scientist, obviously I can convert between the two, but if somebody tells me it's 75 degrees outside, I don't know whether I need a cardigan or not. I know if you've got a body temperature of over 100, you're in trouble. But when somebody says 75, 85, I'm not really that sure, but it's about 19 degrees outside. We've had some really nice weather actually recently. We managed to get out and get down into the sea, went paddleboarding last night, and there was a bit of a surf on, so we actually ended up surfing the paddleboard with my 4-year-old clinging to the front, so that was good fun. That was good fun. Oh, enjoy the outside while we can still go there. One thing I mentioned last week was that I had another sampler that I'd finished that I was going to show you. Now this is another one that I've framed. Whoop, there she is. Framed myself on hand-dyed linen. Actually, no, it's not. It's hand-dyed even weave. This is a design that I picked up on Etsy from the Sabrosa. If you've never checked out the Sabrosa designs, they are brilliant. There's some really lovely designs on there, and they're all PDFs, so you can have that instant gratification. This one is called Rosa Hamilton, although I have changed the name on this one, so I'm afraid this one does have glass on it, so I'm going to get a little bit of glare on it. I finished this one not long after I finished Harriet Elizabeth Coe up there. Long enough for me to remember, or to forget should I say, that eyelet stitches are a little bit of a pain in the backside. So this one has a big alphabet here and down here, which is all eyelet stitches, and then just the rest is in cross stitch. And this has been done for my maternal grandmother, Barbara Candlish, who was born in 1910. We had to get a bit of paper out to try and work that out. She was a Scottish lady. My mum is a Scottish lady, so this is her mum. And yeah, we even had to get a bit of paper out to try and work that one out when she was actually born. We ended up on Scotland's People to try and backtrack even further. But I'm really pleased with the way this one came out. I like this different border with this sort of strawberry style border, and then this crossover one at the bottom. Try and give you a bit less glare there. So I hope all of you have had fun with Sample September. I know it's not over yet, but it's really nice. It's been really nice to actually focus on one project for a bit longer. In terms of rotations and wheels and things like that, I'm not very good with those sorts of things. I like to stitch on what I want to stitch on at the particular time, and I tend to find that when I feel like I'm slowing down on a project, that's when I swap to something else. So if it just feels like it's just getting a bit heavy, then it's time to swap to something else, or just to start something completely new. More often than not, start something completely new. Got some other little bits and bobs to show you. Some free charts. I'm going to try and do every video a free chart, something that you can go and download, go and look for, and add to your stash straight away. Whenever I go on a course as a teacher, and obviously we haven't been on courses for very long, one of the things that I want is something I can do in the classroom tomorrow. So this is kind of in that same vein. So the reason I picked these, I had an email from Brooke's Books. They were doing a 30% discount, and I'm not sure if they still are, or she still is on Etsy. But I had a little look in her free chart section, And these ones popped up. Now, what have I done with the other one? There should be another one. Don't know. There's 4 of them because they're seasons. So I'll have to show you the third one on the others. So what I'm going to show you is actually the front cover. It's not the chart, although it looks like the chart, so it's not the chart. But these are called seasonal pantries. So you just go on to the Brooke's Books website. Is it there? There, brooksbooks.com. And she's got a whole big section of freebies, and these are on there. So there's the spring one. Now the one I'm missing, and I've no idea where it's gone to, is the summer one. Okay, so there's that one with a nice big watermelon. Nice little bunny eyeing up those carrots there too. This is the bigger version of the autumn one with all the jars and the pumpkins and the gourds. This is quite interesting because this is going to be my job for this afternoon. We have got lots of tomatoes and courgettes and beans and things like that that need making into chutneys. So I'm going to be cooking up a storm in the kitchen this afternoon. I can do a chutney. That's fine. This afternoon. And then this one here is the winter version, the winter pantry, with the little cat. I always pick out cats, even though I don't like them. We had this conversation last time. It's not that I don't like them, they're not my favourite. And a nice cake there and a little snowman. So I thought those were really nice actually. I thought those would make, if you were doing seasonal dough bowl or a seasonal little display, then they'd make really, really nice additions to those, I thought. So go and grab those. Go and grab them for free. Right. Now, one last words. Words are difficult. Words are difficult. This happens to be in the class sometimes. I just end up blah, 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 and have to start again. So the CD-ROM that I showed you last video, I had so many people contacting me saying that they were buying it, and then I had links on Instagram saying, look, I've got this as recommended by me. The other thing then, if you're going to go for a recommendation, is the Punch, Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. The reason that I liked the CD-ROM is because I then went on to find loads of charts that I would have paid for. And the same is true for Punch, Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. If you buy a subscription, lots of the charts that then go on to be sold appear in there first. And the newest one is out. It came out at the beginning of September. Beginning September the 7th it came out. So what I've done is I've printed out the ones that I particularly like from this issue. So if you've not had a chance to see any of the flip throughs, or you've not heard of it, these are the ones that I've picked out that I really, really like. I tend to print them out, and then I've got folders of different genres and things like that, and that I tend to flick through if I'm looking to start something new. So let's have a look through here. This is not all of them. I haven't printed out any of the punch needle ones. I do have a punch needle, but I've not yet plucked up the courage to have a go with it. So these are just the cross stitch ones that I've picked out in no particular order, but let's start off with the Sabrosa one, because I've just mentioned her Etsy shop. So that's called Autumn Garden. Really, really love that border design there, and I think that would make a really sweet little finish. So there's that one. This one is by Twin Peak Primitives. Now I picked that one out, oh excuse me, with a mind to do that on murky, or something of that ilk, maybe even, I don't know if it's quite dark enough, maybe even the bottom half of that, or something even darker. It maybe need to be darker, but I really like that as a simple, very striking design. So there was that one. What else have we got? Lindy Stitches. Vulture Villa by Lindy Stitches. Such quirky designs, very, very beautiful, and such a good colour choices. Very lovely. And now this one I thought was lovely as well. The Cauldron Thread Organiser Pillow. So the idea is that you've got a pillow and that this bit is on the front. I don't know if you can, how well you can see, and then you've got these little thread rings that you can just loop your flosses over and then tuck them into the bottom of your cauldron. Or if you didn't want to do that, you could turn that into a little scissor pillow or something like that. And that's by Ryan Mack of Wild Violet Cross Stitch. How cute are these two? Look at the faces on those. Aren't they lovely? Autumn Owl Etchings by Hand in Heart Needle Art, sorry. And they're just perfect. That's a perfect little design. Beautiful. And two more that I picked out. Stitching with the Housewives. Now I've got a mind to do that on a very dark brown. I've got a Picture This Plus Fossil, which I think would make it look really, really nice. So that's the one for this issue. Most issues they seem to have something in there. So regular designers for this magazine. And then the last one, Barbara Anna, Trick or Treat. Beautiful. So such quirky designs again. I love those scissors. I love those scissors. So if you're not already signed up to Punch, Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine, definitely go and have a look and see what subscription offers and things they've got at the minute. Okay, so speaking of scissors, I had a lady email me about scissors and about what scissors I use, not email, sorry, Instagram message, about what scissors I use and about how I store my scissors. So first caveat to say is that I don't have any really expensive scissors. As much as I covet the Dovo scissors that Brenda always shows, I don't have any really expensive scissors. I did buy a flower frog to hold my scissors in because I saw these people having these beautiful flower frogs with their scissors poking out. So I thought, that's a lovely idea, I'll get that. And I found this one, which I thought was a really quirky design. And it would appear that I cannot do measurement conversions. So I thought, yeah, that'd be lovely. This is it. It's massive. I still really like the shape. When it arrived, I was like, that's bigger than I thought it was going to be. And I did a bit more digging. It's a flower frog for a grave. It's meant to go on a grave. Anyway, it does the job. It sits next to my stitchy spot, and my scissors go in the top of it like that. Now, when I thought about it and the aunt then decided to reply to the lady, she asked me where I store my scissors. And I have to be truthful, the place that I store my scissors most is down the back of the sofa. I can be sitting stitching with a pair of scissors and then they're gone. So I'll take another pair out of the flower frog, stitch away, and then they'll be gone as well. And then every so often, because it's a sofa bed, so they just fall straight down to the floor. There's no kind of like undercarriage of the sofa. every so often I'll send my daughter down the back of there with her sort of spindly little hands like some kind of Victorian urchin in a loom room, you know, one of those big weaving rooms, and send her down the back of there to fish out all my scissors, and then we start all over again for the next few weeks. So yeah, great idea, the flower frogs. Would love to get some proper, should we call them proper scissors? Although actually I do really like these ones. I don't know what brand they are, but they're really nice and sharp, and they come in different colours. But I've been known to use kitchen scissors as well. So whatever comes to hand. Okay, so haul. I've got a bit more haul to show you, some more weird things. I've been in the cookery section, I've been in the kitchen section of a couple of shops. The first one I'll show you is this. This came from Tesco's. So Tesco's have started to get their like the little presents in, you know, the sort of ones that are less than £10, Secret Santa, that sort of thing. And I saw this. Now it looks delicious. You can make a chocolate brownie where you add in chocolate malt balls. Interesting. But the reason that I got it, let's see if I can actually get it out of the packet now, was obviously, rustle, for the little skillet. Take the bow off. I don't like that bow. But what I thought was, if you can mount stitching into a little tart pan, pretty sure you can mount it into a little skillet as well. A couple of little nice bows on there, hanging hook ready to go. I think that'll look really cute. Maybe even, I haven't checked out the sizes yet, but maybe even that one, or Lindy Stitches Vulture could go in the bottom there. And I've just taken it off the out of the packet, as you saw, and it even says 2020 on the back, so no need to put that on your stitching. Lovely. Happy with that. What else have I got? Oh, I got myself a Hornbook as well. Now, everybody in the UK has just gone, Hornbook? Where did you get a Hornbook from? Because if you try and find them in the UK, you can't find them. So there's my Hornbook. Okay, I'm not fooling anyone probably. This is a breadboard. This is a breadboard that I bought from TK Maxx. Just a plain pale coloured breadboard, which I've painted and just sanded back the edges. Just put a little bow on it for now. Who knows whether it's going to be that colour, but painted it a mixture of sort of brown and black, just ordinary acrylic paint, and then I can mount some stitching on there. Now they had all sorts of different sizes, so you can get smaller ones, you could get ones which are much thinner, but I thought I'd just pick this one just to test my theory, just to see whether it would work. I'm just going to pause you 1 second because I'm going to grab something else and see if it goes on the front here. 2 secs. Hi, sorry about that. The reason I was just looking around actually was because I just wanted to grab this piece. This is the 2020 Prairie School of Santa, and I've put this on Instagram, but I can't remember if I've shown it on FlossTube or not. It's just a flat finish like that, and I've ordered a little easel for it to come. But I was just looking at it, and just to illustrate my Hornbook point, that sits really nicely on there. I'm not going to put it on there because I'm waiting for my easels to come, but just to get you to keep an eye out in the breadboard section of your local culinary dealer, you can find some things which will suffice as hornbooks, because as I said, in the UK trying to find a hornbook is nigh on impossible. So I mentioned Brenda and Laura earlier, and they have encouraged me, shall we say, into starting another SAL. Now the SAL starts in December now. Hands Across the Sea have done a special anniversary project with Traditional Stitches in America to give out a sampler called Ann Morison, or to sell a sampler called Ann Morison. I'll have to put a little picture up here because obviously mine hasn't come yet. They're on their third reprint to fulfill orders, and I think once this reprint is done, that's it, there won't be any more. So if you do like the look of it, get onto Traditional Stitches in the States and see whether they've sold out of everything. I was watching Brenda and Laura and they showed this sampler and it was absolutely beautiful, and I was sort of umming and ahhing, and then they said that because the stitch along had been delayed because so many people were interested in it, Nicola had actually reproduced another chart which was going out by email for people, just as a sort of apology, not that she had to make an apology, to say we're sorry it's being delayed. And I sat there umming and ahhing and I was like, have a word with yourself. What do you want her to do? Come and stitch it for you? There's a beautiful Hands Across the Sea sampler and another one. So straight on the computer and ordered myself one. So I can't show you the Ann Morison one in person because I'm still waiting for it. But this is the little gem that is emailed to you once you've signed up for the stitch along. Heather M. Jardine, 1933, and I just love all the different colourways there. Beautiful. Can't wait to get that one started. I think my favourite is the Funky Peacock. Funky Peacock in the middle and the little snail. Brilliant combination there. I've got a couple of other little bits of haul. This one I picked up from the Patchwork Rabbit. I've seen this one quite a few places and I really liked it. It's a drum finish and a little roll finish, so I'm keen to do that. I've had a look at the stitching and it's not particularly big, so the design is only, the basket is 59 by 58 and the bird is 46 by 45, so not big and hopefully won't take very long to do, but I just love those. I love the way that they've been finished, so I'm looking forward to starting those at some point. And the other thing I picked up was on a stash unload, or was it eBay? Stash unload, I think. And it's by the Drawn Thread, and it's the sampler game board, and it's just got little houses to make what would be the black squares, and then various other little motifs that would make up what would be the white squares, and then an alphabet border around the outside. Now I think this is lovely. I've got a piece of material to do the board on, and it's called for a 25 count over 2 to make it big enough to actually play on. So I've got that. I've also got a 28 count in reserve because I've never stitched on 25 count over 2 before, so I'm not entirely sure whether I'm going to like it. I'm sure I will. And then again, crinkle crinkle, I've got the DMC threads for it. Now I've bought 2 of each just in preparation for doing it over 25 count over 2. So they're like that, and there's also that one, so there's a couple more that are this sort of reddy colour to go in there, but they were out of stock of those. The other thing that I really fancy doing with it is I've got some very thin banding. I've got some inch banding and I've got some 2-inch banding, and I thought it would be really fun to do just a strip, either a strip of houses or a strip of houses plus motifs, or just motifs, very, very thin, just to wind around a bobbin. I thought that would be really a nice thing to display as well. So so yeah, there's a lot in that chart. Even if you don't want to do just the game board, there's a lot there. This isn't one I'd seen before. I can't say I've really looked for it, but it's not one I'd seen before. Okay, so that is pretty much the end of haul. I've got a couple of plans to share with you. To be honest, I've got enough on my plate. I've got enough to catch up on. I've got enough stitching of the projects that I've already got on the go, but I do have a couple that I want to get underway. The first one I've already showed you, and that is the Sandra Workmen snapshots. I've got the November is the next month, Michelle, and December ones to do. I'm going to do them on Vintage Country Mocha, and if you do them on the 32 count, I believe it is, yeah, 32 count, it gives you a size which is about 6x4, which fits nicely into a 5x7 frame. Oh, excuse me. And I managed to pick up a 5x7 frame that I liked. I will probably go over this in black. I'll try and keep the sort of distressed look to it, the worn look to it, but I will probably take it darker than this because I don't think this colour will fit. And this was another TK Maxx find. I know in the States it's TJ Maxx, but over in the UK it's TK Maxx. So there's that. Since I showed those charts last video from the Antique Needlework magazine, one of those has really stuck in my brain. It's become like a little brainworm for me, and it's Maria Dale. Now she looks like she's black sampler, but it's not. It's actually a very dark green, and I managed to pick up a 10-yard skein of this one, which is Blue Spruce by the Gentle Art. It's a really, really beautiful, very dark green, blue colour, and she keeps shouting to me. She keeps shouting to me to start her. Now I think I may start her on, if it'll fit. I haven't checked if it'll fit, but if not, I've got a very similar colour piece of fabric, seraphim fabric one, and I think I may start her, if she'll go, on the bottom of the 32 count Sparrow by Foxglove and Lace that I did my Perfect Pumpkins on, or something of that similar sort of colour. And my last thing is not, it's not haul, or it's not haul yet. I keep seeing it all over my stream, these 3 little fishes, and these 3 little fishes come from the Dark Queen of the Sea Sal by Autumn Lane Stitchery, and I know a lot of you are already way ahead of me and are already signed up for it. And I've dyed a piece of fabric for it, although I haven't actually yet signed up for the Sal. I have dyed a piece of fabric for it because I thought, well, I haven't really got time to start it this month. I'm in love with those fishies. I'll just see what October's like, but I just want to be ready just in case, and so I will dye a piece of fabric. So I've dyed a piece of 32 count. Now it does come with beads. If you buy the pack, and there's the fabric pack from Under the Sea Fabrics, it does come with beads, which means that if you want to stitch it using your own fabric, you can't go on a really small count, because the beads would either have to be changed or they would be very, very tight in the fabric. So 32 count with beads is about the smallest that I would go. So this is my fabric that I've dyed. Let's see if I can get a decent, that's not too bad actually. So this was using the Rick dye with a lower immersion technique. So we're still using the jar, but I scrumpled up the fabric wet, put it in, and then did it so that when I was putting in the darker colours, the jar wasn't completely filled. So the darker colours weren't getting all over the fabric. And I probably did, to get that effect, sort of 3 or 4 different colours. So the base colour was a very very bright turquoise, sort of as you can see at the top here. I then, oh, that's getting washed out. I then did more of a tealy green. Then I put in some darker blue, and finally just a little bit of purple, because if you look at the fabric that you can purchase specifically for the sow, there's quite a lot of purple in it. But oh, that's not bad, that's pretty good actually. So I'm very much thinking about jumping on board with that next month, because Santa's trips will be finishing up next month. No, very start of November, so pretty much next month. I'm sure I can squeeze another one in. And then we're into Halloween stitching. Yay. My favourite, I love Halloween stitching. So I've got lots of things to show you for that. But I think that is me done. I'm going to pop some photographs on the end just of my local area, so mainly so Laura can have a look and see how exotic it all really is, but hopefully the rest of you will like just seeing my neck of the woods. And until next time, 2 weeks time, take care of yourselves. Bye bye.
Yes, he's just
Oh, there was a big one jumping right